was weird. Okay, no, I guess it looks like we're all right. But I am in this Penny Lou. You may be one of the few people to see this. As I was putting my phone on, I noticed this wonderful rainbow. So I wanted everybody. I'm not going to stay in this angle all the time because I'm like leaning over. But I just wanted to share with you this cool rainbow that's coming in through the thing in my window. Isn't that kind of cool? Yeah, I thought that would be pretty neat, and I thought it would share it with you. You can also see my leopard skin hoodie over there that I wear to keep me warm. But as I was moving my phone around to get stuff settled this morning, I saw this wonderful rainbow here. So I thought I would share it with you. Okay. Now I'm going to turn around. Oh, there's some nice sunshine there as well. And let me make this font bigger. Is that how I do it? Yes. Okay. Much better. Much better. So good morning, everybody. Moi. Good morning, Beth. I hope all is well. For me, yes, the world. Shit's going on, people. But thank you. Thought of you when I was going through my pens and markers. I hope you were telling yourself, I deserve to write with only the best of pens. Only the best of pens. And hey, check out, look who it is. Shannon in retrograde. Nice to see you. And coffee and calm. Not coffee and chaos, coffee and calm. I love it. Sweet Melissa. Ooh, hot tea. Nice to see you all this morning. So here we are doing a TikTok live, helping us to remind ourselves of what we can do to change things we don't love. Yeah. And don't think I don't notice that. So Destination Decluttered. Decluttering life coach right here. Decluttering, yes. Life coach, yes. Life coach, what do? I help you manage how you're feeling to make decisions that are going to give you the life and the world you want, which to me often tends to be how to get out of paralyzing overwhelm and do something, but not just do something to just do something, but do something that is going to be aligned with the destination you want. If I can change something. I updated my phone yesterday, so some things are wonky. So there we go. A mini you on my shoulder as decluttering. I love it. Well, thank you for stopping in and mentioning that, Judy. Good morning to you and Emma and Laura GV. So let me check here. I'm going to use my brain. Thursday, January 8th, 2026. 8:03 Eastern AM. Here I am. Here you are. What do you want to get into today? What can help you with where you're at today move forward in a direction that feels good? Okay? Hey, Melissa, why not just be proud of yourself? Not even kinda. Melissa says, I got rid of 40 items from my house yesterday. Let's bump that up. I am proud of myself. None of this, I feel kind of proud. You feel proud of yourself and own it. That's great. 40 items is a lot. I hope you feel not just proud, but even more good feelings about that. I hope you feel encouraged and strong that you made a decision to let go of things and you're feeling good about it. And so if you have more things that you're on the fence about, know that you can do that. And yes, Laura Voorhees is giving you all sorts of little loving cups. So yay. 40 trophies. My goodness. Is that how many? Yeah. Notice now you feel the weight is lifted and now I want to do more. Wonderful. Wonderful. Notice how you feel when a weight is lifted off of your shoulders, and that's giving you the confidence to do more. So yay. Good you. Keep it up, my friend, and I'm here for you when it gets tough. And when it's easy, we'll celebrate how easy it is. And when it's tough, we say, okay, you can do tough things. And we can even try to make the tough even easier, okay? I'm going to just tough. We say, okay, you can do tough things. And we can even try to make the tough even easier, okay? I'm going to just try to do Okay. See, I couldn't see behind me. So notice that decluttering, Melissa, you now have firsthand experience. I would capture this moment kind of on Kodak film. And what I will offer to you, feeling good about what you do, feeling encouraged, feeling a good feeling about it will encourage you to do more of it. And when you do more of something, you get better at it. The things we do over and over again, whether you like it or not, the things we repeat, we get better at. So be careful, be mindful, be curious about what you're repeating. Interesting. Now, I love this, Laura Given Voorhees, saying, I have been working on a sentimental bin with many framed portraits. She says, I am finding that going through just a few items a day doesn't trigger me. Laura GV, you're at step number 4, chunking down. Noticing that if you only do a little, it doesn't trigger you. So if you do a little and then a little and a little, it won't feel overwhelmed. Rock on, my friend. And Erin, good morning to you too. So in case you haven't met me before here on a TikTok Live, my name is Beth. I am a decluttering life coach, and my coaching is called Destination Decluttered. You know? Ooh. And I am here doing a TikTok Live for the next 53 minutes. Later today at some point, there is a YouTube Live scheduled at Destination Decluttered on YouTube. And if you ever want to find out the schedule, because I did add next week, Monday and Tuesday, TikTok Live, YouTube Lives, go to my website, join the free, low-key, no spam email list. You give me your email list. I give you a link that shows you the secret schedule, okay? That helps keep the trolls out, right? Yeah. Laura GV says, what we repeat, we tend to get better at. So notice what you repeat. Do you always go to the negative? Do you always steer towards, is your, and I like to use the driving and road tripping. That's why I have this kind of car metaphor behind me. Yep. There we go. Erin, Pavlov's puppy. I guess it's time to shower and then empty my suitcase from the work trip. I love it. Yes, we're here to help you with that. So notice what you repeat. What you repeat, it's like practicing something. You may not even realize you're practicing it. Now, the human brain, at least in my experience, both personally and professionally, tends to be like you're driving a car that has the wheels kind of in permanent misalignment. Our internal thoughts and things often will veer towards the unhelpful and negative. And that's kind of like a leftover from being being afraid of things that are going to hurt you. So being aware of the negative, but notice when it's justified and when it's not. Because oftentimes, again, if you practice going in that way, you just tend to steer in that way. Now, when we kind of, as I like to say, course correct, when we steer the wheel, we're not trying to get over into yippee skippy land. What we're trying to do is even just get to where you're feeling a little bit better and centered, because from centered is where you can make some good, powerful decisions about what actions, what things you're going to do. Okay? So notice, if you practice always looking at things from like the glass half empty thing, that you're going to get good at that. You're going to get good at it. So let's kind of practice steering in a slightly different direction and practice staying there, feeling better, doing better. All right? So what do we do here on these TikTok Lives? Well, here, I'll just offer this to you. I help people where they're stuck with clutter. And through a variety of ways. I have kind of a standard framework that I like to share with you. Talking about framed portraits, I think of framework, things that I do and I remind you of, so that you too can have these rules and these order of things you feel like you can do when previously your not so helpful voice in your head would say, I don't know kind of what to do. So I'm here to help you calm that down, shift the gears, and give you some ideas of what to do to get your juices flowing in your brain about what you can do with your clutter. Okay? One thing I just want to offer too is a couple of things. If there's any particular category you want to work on, we can do that today. But also, I want to make sure that I'm showing, I am decluttering, kind of my decluttering notes. and they're right here. And I did this the other day and it was kind of fun. And I'm just pulling whatever's off the top of my clipboard to show you. And this is what's on top of my clipboard today. Okay, everything's in just kind of a random order. So this right here is kind of the road trip journey that I like to think about. So you're here wherever you're starting. Now I'm on the East Coast of the US, so I tend to organically imagine myself here. And your destination, and my destination, this heart right here, is Palm Springs, California, because I like it. And notice on this map, there are many ways that you can do it. You can get there. But notice it's never really a complete straight line. It's always going to be a little bit of detours and a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And even if you aren't there yet, what I want to remind you is every day that you show up, you're getting closer to your destination. Every day you show up and do decluttering, you are getting closer to being decluttered. So even if you aren't there yet, maybe you're 25% there. You may not know, maybe, and then you keep moving and then you get halfway there. And then you keep on doing stuff and you're 75% there. Now this, around this time, reminds me of when I have friends who have like run the Boston Marathon. This is where you may feel like, oh my God, am I ever going to get there? Because you're tired. That's okay. Remember that it's only a short amount of time to get there. Okay? So even if you're not there yet, it's okay. The first time you move out of the driveway and head towards your thing, you're making progress. All right? So I thought it would be fun to share that. Anybody have any questions or comments about my road trip map? Let me know. I'm going to tuck that behind. But I look at life like that too. It's like, oh my gosh, I keep on doing this thing and I feel like I'm not there. But just because you feel like you're not there, this is why it's so important to remember and document all the places you've been beforehand, like a road trip. Well, I went from Boston to Providence and Providence to Hartford and then Hartford to New York and New York to Philly and Philly to Baltimore and Baltimore to DC. Little things along the way. Now, are you there yet? Am I in California yet? No, but I've gone through a number of states. I've been to a number of places, and I've done a number of things. So if you don't, this is the thing, when you don't start to document your journey, your negative leaning brain is going to convince you that what you're doing isn't working, and it's going to encourage you to stop. Now, I don't know about you, but if I'm on my way to Palm Springs, California, I so don't want to stay. I don't want to be stuck in DC, especially right now with who's in the White House. Okay? And what I love is, and Laura GV says this, she says, I have appreciated your saying you are closer to your destination today than you ever were. So notice that. You may not feel that way if you're only moving incrementally. Incrementally is totally fine. But you are closer to your destination. The moment you do something, even one step is closer than you were. So notice that that is kind of one of those thoughts that instead of kind of veering towards the negative, unhelpful, we steer over and we say something nicer and more encouraging. Encouraging gives you courage to take that one step. When a little kid is learning how to walk, and they're up there and they're like, whoa, this is weird. I took one step. And then you're like, oh, hey, you, come on, you can do it right here. That's what you're doing to yourself a lot. Okay? So be encouraging, not discouraging. Notice how many times, maybe today's a day you notice how many times you subtly, quietly discourage yourself doing something. And how could you, because you've practiced discouraging yourself, no, that's not going to work out. Don't do it. Just give up. You might be really good at that. Man, I was an expert at that. So much so that I would have a thought and not even start something because I'm like, it probably won't work out anyway. Why even bother? We're doomed, as it were. As Laura GV says, as a runner, I have often thought every step is closer to the finish line. And I hate running. I do not care for running. Everything bounces and I get out of breath. It's not a pleasant sight, but I get the same thing every time I'm walking and if I'm tired when I'm walking. Or when I'm excited about where I'm walking to, I'm getting closer every day, as Chicago would say. So there is power in tuning into the voices in your head, but being an interactive participant in them, not just listening to them like a freaking Rush Limbaugh, stupid radio show. Turn that stuff down. Turn up the fun, okay? So that being said, this is what I do here. I like to help you with your surface clutter, your stored clutter, your sentimental clutter. We can talk about being from the crown on down, making sure you're okay physically. And if you're not feeling okay physically, do something about it. Number 2, check in with your nervous system. Not to make you immune to what's going on, but to gather your energy back to you so that you're not using it and freaking out and then having no energy to then write down what you want and then chunk down and make it happen. Okay? So physical, nervous system, writing, and chunking on down will help you get going too. So those are the kind of things that I do to help me get to my decluttered home and stay that way, to freaking love the life I'm living now, which I can't always say I have been able to say with such confidence and authority. And because it's working out for me, I'm here to share it with you. Now that's where I am in my journey. I'm kind of over here in destination land and I'm in maintenance. I am saying, I like where I am. How do I keep it this way? And then, because I am used to trusting my brain to be helpful, when I ask myself a question, I pause and listen for the answer and I write it down. How can I maintain this? Well, and then I glance down right now like at my habit tracker. Well, physically, to make myself feel good, continue to take my vitamins and go for a walk and drink water and do a stretch and brush my teeth so I'll keep them, How about you? How about you? Where are you at on this journey? If you're moving forward in the direction you want, kind of as I like to say, aligned action that's in the line of where you want to go to, yay, keep it up. But if you're not, if you don't know where you're going, I can help you with that. Yay, Leslie, nice to see you. It's been like every 12 hours I'm hanging out with y'all. Isn't it fun? Listening on my way to work to get a good start to the day. Awesome, Leslie. To get a good start for the day, what I would say to you is, you got this, my friend. You are doing awesome work. I know that if you are doing so well, you are doing so well with your decluttering. You are showing up for other people in the comments and being so encouraging. And you, I know, are radiating that. That doesn't just stay in the silo of decluttering. It has a positive ripple effect. It is. So you are radiating awesomeness. You cheered me up just by saying hi. And so I bet you're doing that for other people all along the day, so keep it up, all right? Go you. Jesse, good morning. Penny Lou is feeling better today, yay. Instead of being horizontal, I'm vertical. The washing machine, the washer is going, and the dishwasher is next. Awesome, hon. So glad you're feeling better. You now have a first-hand experience of noticing when your physical body doesn't feel good, how everything else can be affected. Now, luckily and hopefully for many of us, our not feeling good physically and nervous system is a temporary status. So there may be times where you are flat on your back and sick and you can't do something. Allow yourself to heal. Don't push through the exhaustion. That's for somebody else. That's not for you. As I heard somebody say recently on the internet, what is my body telling me right now? What message? What is my body trying to tell me right now? And my body is trying to tell me, slow down. I don't feel well. If you slow down, I can use my magic powers of my body to make us feel better. But I need some time and energy to do that. There we go. Jessie got her notes started yesterday and my Christmas downstairs. Good stuff. That one persona, good morning to you as well. So I love hearing people taking action in the right direction of their decluttering. That means I'm hoping what I'm sharing here on Destination Decluttered on TikTok, on YouTube, one-on-one coaching, all that is working. That gives me confidence to continue to then ask the people who are not there, who are not making progress, How can I help you? Where are you stuck? You may not know how I can help you, but where are you stuck? Where are you stuck today? Not even all the time, but where are you stuck today? What is stopping you? Where are you not moving, even though part of you wants to move in a certain direction, but you're not? You're kind of, like almost like vibrating, because if you wanted to just stay not moving, you're going to own that. Yay, I'm just going to stay around and I'm going to feel good. If I want to move forward, I move forward. Notice, no tension. But if part of you wants to move forward and part of you wants to stay stuck, there's tension there. There's tension there. So let's resolve that tension. There's enough in the external world that is causing us to feel tense. Let's learn how to manage that internally, and we will also be better equipped to manage the tension that is caused by living in this external world. Okay, so Kiko, I don't even know where to begin. I grew up poor, so I can't get rid of anything, okay? So let me help you with this. You may not know how to begin because it sounds to me as if your story, and please know that I'm not being judgy when I phrase things a certain way. Your experience of growing up poor, notice that. I grew up poor, right? But interesting, this is where the tension comes through. I grew up poor, but I'm not poor now. But part of you is still living and, what do I want to say, is referring back to an old operating system where you can't get rid of anything because we're poor and what if I need it? And I will offer, Kiko, you are in such good company because so many people who I help with their clutter are in the same situation, that they feel poor kind of on the inside, that fear of letting go because the fear of not being able to, buy something new in case they let go of something, the fear of lack of stuff or lack of food or lack of all that. And the tension happens when, if you're cluttered, you physically have not just enough, you have too much. Clutter tends to be the too much area, not the just right amount, but the too much. And yet your fear that's based on decades old growing up poor causes you to hang on even when too much is making you feel crappy. Okay. All right. So notice that tension. Okay. The problem is how many times it's helped others, then it becomes rewarding, which is bad. I'll be honest. I would love for you to rephrase that some way because I don't quite get what you're saying. And that's a me problem. Okay. So if you can say, the problem is how many times it's helped others, what is that? Okay, so notice that. Notice how, and it's kind of like eating food. Many of us have been told to ignore our physical signals when it comes to, okay, now I get it, Kiko, thank you. And I will respond to that momentarily. Many of us have been told to ignore the signals that our body is sending us. And then when we do, we end up doing things that make us feel worse than what we began with, or equally as crappy, or crappy in a different way. So think about it. Your body sends you a signal of I am hungry. And so you notice that, so you eat food. But if the food is something that is like a treat, or something you enjoy eating, or you don't get it often, or I didn't get snacks as a kid. Notice that story from decades ago. I never had enough snacks as a kid. So then you tend to eat it more than you want. And you miss that kind of I'm done, push away from the table mode. And you keep on eating, and then you end up feeling blurg in another way. Okay? All right? So just notice that there are 3 areas. There's too little, lack, like a hungry belly. There's too much, which to me, I like to say, think about the words we use. I'm drowning in my stuff. I'm suffocating. I'm in over my head. I can't even see anything. All of those ways we describe that overwhelmed feeling of clutter is kind of above the line of just right. So what I want to reassure everybody with, and at least the way I coach about decluttering, is we know that, so we go slowly and just start to carve off a layer at a time that feels good, and then notice how it feels. Is that good enough? Did that get you to your good feeling? Cool. Awesome. And then we don't go below that. We don't go into lack. So do not fear of not having enough, because going slowly and mindfully through this stuff will decrease the likelihood that you will get into I don't have it. And even if you don't have it, could you use something else for it? Do you really need as many things as you want, or could you live with fewer? And I will say this, I have more money now in my life than ever before. And I also have fewer things than ever before, and it feels good. Okay. Now Kiko says, yeah, so Kiko knows, it rewards me that I save clutter. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people, the phrase I was going to come up with was they get off on, they get a positive loop. When somebody says, do you have something? And you say, yes, I have it. Okay. They say, yes, I have it. And you get a reward. See, this is why I keep all this stuff, because someday somebody is going to ask me if I have a potato masher, and I'm going to say, yes, I have it. Now, that isn't necessarily clutter. Even if it is something, even if you find it, can you easily find the things you own? Because that works into clutter. Okay, so notice you are getting a positive feedback for saving clutter. So why would you give up that opportunity to get positive feedback? So notice you're getting something out of having your clutter. You're getting a positive reward. Okay? And notice how that's also me, but not overeating. Instead, I buy more food than needed so my kids won't go hungry. Because Kiko, maybe you remember what it was like to not have a lot of food in the house. And you don't want your kids to feel that way, because you are overbuying under the umbrella of love and care. And yet I also want to offer, if you are buying food and the food is eaten, it's a job well done. However, if you buy too much food and it doesn't get opened and it expires on the shelf, that does not help feed your kids, does it? If anything, that's money lost, because it's money that went to food that just sat there on your shelf and then goes into the trash. So I am not ever going to get anybody into that lack feeling. What we do is we hang out here, kind of between the overwhelm and too much, and we do it low and slow and say, how does that feel? You know, notice up thread, somebody said, I'm bad with names, but I'm getting better all the time. How's that? I got rid of 40 things, and now she's noticing I got rid of 40 things, and it feels good. I feel lighter. I like that feeling. So she's probably going to she's going to go back and do it again, and maybe do another round and take some more things and see if that feels good. And then as you repeat, it's kind of like the map. It's like, instead of horizontally, it's like this. Every time you do it, you're getting a little bit closer to your just right point. And I purposely use my just right point and my hand on my heart a lot, because to me, this is where you feel these things in your body. The drowning and the suffocation, or the clenching of the stomach that hasn't anything to eat. But right here in your heart, this is where we want to hang out, and we don't want to go much below that. Okay? So Vico, you're noticing this yourself. I buy too much food too, but it's usually expired and I throw it away and it's wasted money. So notice when you do that, part of you, do not beat yourself up. Part of you thinks it's doing a good thing because it remembers what it was like when there wasn't food. The problem is you've never learned to figure out what the right amount is. And so I'm here to help you with that. Okay? I'm here to help you with that. All right? So, yeah, Miss Ivy is saying, there we go. I'm that person. Everyone comes to me to borrow an item. And you get off on that. Nothing wrong with that. Look at me. I have what you need. You know? Now, Taco, I love this. Says, I didn't do anything yesterday. Well, yes, you did. You chilled and you recovered and you had a good time. I can appreciate that I was at a rest stop with an awesome view. So good. So good. Yeah. And we do not need to be productive every single day of our lives. I sometimes need to tell this to myself. This is one of the reasons you will see me. I travel often to remind myself to go have fun. And so I offer to you, I didn't do anything yesterday. Yes, you did. You enjoyed yourself, and that is great. We are not factory workers. We are not robots. We are not machines. The external world that benefits from our productivity wants to tell us, you got to be busy all the time. Don't be lazy. That's a bad thing. F that. Now, notice there's extremes. Too busy, too doing nothing. There's a rainbow. We are all on the spectrum. We are all on the spectrum, okay? There is a sweet spot there where it feels good that you're doing some stuff and you're chilling. Maybe you chill a little bit more here and you do a little bit less, and then you do a little bit more here and then you chill some less. But get the balance right, as Depeche Mode would say. Alrighty? Yeah. So this is a great thing. So here, why don't we do this? Okay? Okay. Oh, this is fun. I want to share things. I want to share some things, and then I'm going to make it, because enough has come up, that I'm going to call this episode the episode about buying too much food. Does that sound good to you? And we'll get into the food thing and the pantry stuff. Okay? We'll spend some time on that. So if it is something that you recognize in yourself, you can watch the recording of this TikTok live when it's uploaded to the Destination Decluttered YouTube live channel as a repeat, okay? So Erin is saying, I learned something last night. Came home to a totally organized bathroom vanity. 19-year-old said, Mom, you don't really have too much stuff. It just needs to be organized better. She completely categorized my makeup and creams and hair products, and it looks amazing. Yay, and yay for that next generation kind of picking up what we're putting down, right, Erin? How cool. She is chunking it down into categories. Then you have your choice. What hair product do I want to use? What, lipstick do I want to put on? And yay for the younger generations doing this. And I know with you and your daughters that is a huge step. And working together. She was so excited to show you, and I hope and know that you gave her nubbins back. So good. And you were working together to help each other. Oh, my heart swells. Oh, yeah. Okay. So Dolores also is sharing. You guys, I went through my closet yesterday and decluttered 28 pieces and posted them on Poshmark. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. Yes. Okay. So here's a great thing. Yay. I made a huge fuss, and she's probably like, Ma, stop it. You're weirding me out here. But I think it's great. She probably really was like, oh, this is good stuff. All right. The decluttering of the food. Okay. So I want to share with you the steps that help you declutter any area of your house. And let's use those steps in the specifics of your food pantry / fridge. Okay. So one thing that is always going to help you, the 4 quick things: make sure you feel good physically, nervous system, you're ready to work. And when you are, I want you to write down some stuff. I want you to practice this. It may seem like different or overkill. You just want to get in there and do stuff. But I promise you, this is why I call my coaching Destination Decluttered. That's why I'm pointing to this heart over here. Write down your destination to remind yourself of where you're headed and what you want before you even start. So for example, I am picturing myself in front of my kitchen cupboard that has the food. And before I even start, I say this: what do I want? I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want. I want a cupboard filled with unexpired food that I like to eat. I want it organized into categories so I can easily see what I have, easily use it, and easily put away what isn't used. That sounds good to me. That seems like it could be a blanket statement for everybody, okay? So that's what I want, but that's not necessarily what I have right now. And this is the beginning of the, let's harness the energy and just the coincidence of this being the beginning of the calendar year. And my calendar tends to look like a circle, so I tend to think we're down here at the bottom right here. That isn't where you are right now, but that's okay. At least you know what you're aiming for. So notice some of those specifics. And I think the first one is going to be the easiest because there is for the most part, there's going to be a clean line of demarcation of is it before the expiration date or after the expiration date? Okay? So the first thing I would say is, and Kiko, that's a great idea. The first thing I would say is notice I'm looking at my entire cupboard. That can be overwhelming. And I've seen somebody's cupboards on TikTok and I'm like, my God, they have a wicked lot of food. But I want to offer to you, anything that's too big will cause overwhelm. The way that you get started is by chunking things down. So I would get myself something to step on because I'm short, and I would start with the top shelf of my cupboard, and I would have a surface, maybe the counter right beneath me, and I would pull out not everything out of all the cupboards, but I would pull out just the stuff from the top shelf. And as I'm doing that, I will look at the expiration date, and I will only do an expiration date sort. Is it before the expiration date or after the expiration date? Before goes over here, after goes over here. So stuff that's expired is in one place and stuff that isn't expired is in another place. Now notice already, I know this. As soon as you get to the stuff that's expired, notice my air quotes right here. Part of you might think, yeah, but it still might be good. We've all seen those videos, or maybe they only show up on my FYP of this expired in 2017. It's still good. I still use it. Now, I don't want to be. Notice, many of us don't want to be wasteful. So we keep things even after the expiration date because there's stuff left in there. We don't want to be seen as wasteful. We don't want to waste money. But keeping a food product past its expiration date could also harm your health or even it just makes it less pleasant to eat. So notice even in that quick thing, you can separate them, but once you are letting go of it, some of those old thoughts and fears of lack may crop up. And so notice that and tell yourself, I deserve to eat unexpired food. My family deserves fresh food. I don't need to suffer through the fact that I bought too much. I will learn from it and I will buy less again. But it's not going to help anybody for me to keep this expired food. Okay? So, and thank you, Jennifer. So notice that. One shelf, chunking it down, pulling just those items down into a surface where you can spread out and look at things. Because sometimes we don't know what we have because it's all contained in the cupboard. This is level 2. This is stored clutter, tends to be packed together and you can't see it. So you need to bring it to a surface and spread out to see what you have. Okay? So let's pretend, just for this, that you are able to remind yourself, this is expired. I and my family deserve good food, not expired food. And you are comfortable throwing that stuff in the trash. Let's just do that, get that out of the way. So now what you're left with is food that isn't expired. Now notice, it's not expired, but my destination reminded me, I want my cupboard filled with unexpired food, yes, that I want to eat. So we have all been there. We see a recipe that looks good, it was on sale, and we may buy, I want to broaden my culinary horizons. And so many of us have bought food that we haven't eaten yet. Now, I bet you anything, many of us don't wait till our cupboards are bare before we go to the grocery store. So you know there are things that you go by a lot frequently. So I would take a curious look at the unexpired, unopened food that you have and saying, am I going to eat this? I thought I was when I bought it, but now, do I really want to eat that? Now, Vico mentioned, or Kiko, excuse me, maybe meal plans based on what we have already or ready to expire. Right, one thing you can do is, hey, this stuff, let's create, stone soup or something. Let's mishmash it together. Maybe I can look up some recipes. But notice that when things are on your shelves and they are close to the due date, that means you bought them like a while ago. It's not just you bought it and it's already expiring now. So you've had it for a long time. And so just notice that. And some of the things I offer are, much like Kiko said, is creating a meal for that week to kind of catch up and use the things that are going to expire first. It could be like a creative project. Let's find a recipe that uses some of these ingredients that are almost near expiry. But let's say you get this stuff and you're like, ugh, I really don't want to eat. I'm always coming up with the garbanzo beans. I don't know why. I really don't want to eat these garbanzo beans. That's why I keep on pushing them to the back and pushing them to the back. If they are unopened and unexpired and you don't want to eat them, that doesn't mean that somebody else doesn't want to eat them too. That's when you get to share your abundance. Put the things that are unopened and unexpired into a bag and donate them to your local food bank. Somebody else is going to be thrilled to have what you don't want. Okay? Now that one persona says, something that helped me, meal planning for the week. We don't do fancy meals some nights. Yep, it's frozen pizza, but it helps to keep me mindful while I grocery shop. Okay? Great idea. It also helps to keep me from overbuying. Okay? Now here's a fun thing. Good morning, Anne. And did I miss something? Somebody's doing okay? Terry? Yeah, this is hard as I'm sitting at rehab. I want to go home. Terry, I know you're going to do okay at rehab, and I know you're there for a good reason, so take care of yourself, okay? So notice when we talked about the grocery store in your house and the grocery store outside of your house, the importance of writing things down. The writing down of a shopping list keeps you mindful of you're buying things that you're going to eat and you have a plan to eat them. So writing down what you have, getting to know the things that your family and you and your husband or whoever like to eat and the things that you really don't care for. You will learn about yourself, okay? Being mindful of the qualities and quantities of food you have will help you create a shopping list. And when you have something written down in front of you, it's more easy to get it. This is why I am so big on step number 3 of any project is writing stuff down. Because when you write it down, it makes it easier for you to remember and focus on getting that one thing. Okay? So, yep, it won't expire if it goes to the local food bank because people are going to get it probably in the daily, right? So, Anne, good morning. We have decided to use a portion of today's program, episode, I think I'm calling them, and I'm going to write this down right now so I don't forget. The one about decluttering food. So this is where I want to offer to you, in my mind, what I just described to you, opening up my cupboard, noticing all the shelves, but not overwhelming myself by chunking it down, starting with one shelf, removing those things to a surface where I can spread it out, dividing it between expired and non-expired, throwing away the expired and getting comfortable with that and trying not to do it again, but it's going to happen. And then taking the unexpired and chunking that down further too by unexpired food I know we will eat and unexpired food that I'm going to donate to the food bank. Okay? Now, Patty, you're saying this is where I really struggle, really where I struggle. Give me some more specifics. I just illustrated a bunch of kind of steps in a process. Which one of those steps is the step that you are struggling with? Okay? Let me know and I can help you with that. But let's say we're going through and it's kind of I used to be a process industry, overbuying. Okay, so notice, overbuying, too much, not the just right amount. So, Patty Ingram, let's stop right here. Let's ask you. Think of something in your cupboard that represents what you overbought. Can you remember the last time you realized you overbought something? What was it? And do you remember the specifics around why you bought it? Why you overbought it? Okay? Now, as you're thinking about that and writing it in the comments, I will offer from my point of view. Yeah, Reese, buying BOGOs, buy one, get ones when I don't need it. So look at your relationship with money and getting a deal, getting an look at how good I am. I got a deal. This was a bargain. Don't you just love a bargain? Yes, I do. Yeah, soups that were on sale, buy one, get one. You guys, I'm all about sharing your abundance. BOGOs. I may not need it, so you can stop yourself at the store to be like, wait a minute. We do not eat that much tomato soup. Even if it's on sale, it is not, this is a good one. It is not a bargain if you end up throwing it away. Okay? It's not a bargain if you don't use it. It's basically kind of wasted money. So anybody who has too many of any one quantity because of a BOGO, split the difference. Keep half of it, donate half of them. I used to do that when before I set up a monthly donation to our local food bank that I do every month personally. I used to go and whenever there was a good deal, I would buy some stuff for myself, but sometimes I'd get that charge of feeling like I got a good deal, and then I would donate that food directly to the food bank. Okay? So notice that. Okay? Now, Patty says potatoes because I didn't realize I had so many. So notice what you did. Part of your process that you have right now, or had, was I don't do inventory before I go to replenish my inventory. You're just kind of winging it here. Because if you had done inventory, if you had checked in and interacted with the food you already have, if you kind of went shopping in your own internal home grocery store, you would refresh your memory of what you have and oftentimes realize you don't need to go out to shop as often as you do. Right? So notice part of your process isn't, oh, I realize I don't check what I have before I go to the store. Let me take a minute or two before I go to the store and make my list. And when I make my list, I will make the list of things I don't have so I can get them. So notice it's going to be a changing of your habit, your pattern. Okay? Now, Nancy says, I read expiration dates on many things, canned beans, are planned obsolescence for money. True. Notice that feeling. It could be true, but it also could be not true. What I offer to you in that is, would you rather save some money and end up possibly having botulism, or even if it doesn't make you sick, something not taste good, and save 50 cents on a can of beans? I think it's really good that those dates are there because it helps you, as they say in the grocery biz, rotate for freshness. Okay? Yep. Yeah. And that one persona says, a money tip from my dad. Even if it's on sale, you're still spending money that may not need to be spent. Yeah. Again, it's not a bargain if you're not going to use the product. Okay? Yeah, Patty Ingram. And this is where I offer to you the writing down, which is step 3 of the Destination Decluttered kind of fourfecta. I was going to say trifecta, but there's 4 steps. What we do in our house that works, so I highly recommend this, is have a pad of paper that is expressly for shopping lists and keep it easily available in the kitchen near a pen, so that when you notice something is gone and you want more of it, and you've done your research and you realize, yes, we're truly out of butter, you write it down. Okay? We don't do it. We don't say we're doing, and my husband and I have much more of a flexible schedule. Okay? So I say we do this very organically. We notice that we're running low on something, so we'll write it down, and we'll notice, and we'll write it down, and we'll notice. We don't say, okay, today's the formal shopping day, let me formally do inventory. We will write things down, but then when we know there's enough things on the list that we're going to go to the store, we will then take a look for other things. And also, frankly, the other thing you can do is when you do that, you can look for things that are in your cupboard that you haven't used lately, that you may require another couple of ingredients to make something from, and then order those ingredients or buy those ingredients so you can use the things in your cupboard. Okay? Yeah. Okay? Yes. And yes, notice that too, that one persona. I've even written, we do not need more of this. Yes. Share the buy one, get one, says Cat Mama with her niece who's on a tight budget. Sharing your abundance is what it's all about here. Notice you were afraid that you didn't have enough, so you bought some, but you inadvertently bought too much because you weren't aware of what you already had. When you are aware of your abundance and you know that having too much doesn't make you feel good, I always offer the best way to feel good about letting go of some of that stuff is to share it with people who don't have the abundance. Helping other people with your thing, not being greedy, but being generous. And knowing that your generosity is not going to kick you into lack. You're going to keep it where, hey, I have enough food for my family and a surplus. I will help you by sharing my surplus, but I'm going to make sure that we're okay and that our quantity and quality of food, that we still have some for us. Okay? And I say this too because, as I mentioned earlier, the feeling of what is my set point, and I have more money than I ever have in my entire life, and I also have far fewer things. I also still shop like a frugal person in that I always want my husband and I, and especially where we're doing a lot of traveling, prior to travel, I kind of put my traffic cop hand out and say, don't go to the grocery store. Let's eat whatever's typically in the fridge, because it'll expire first, then in the freezer, and then in the cupboard. Okay? So, just like we did with that one shelf in the top of the cupboard, then we take what we know we're going to eat and isn't expired and put it back on the shelf. And put it on the shelf, and this is where my training as a visual merchandiser back in the day, Pier 1, Mikasa, Filene's, all that, fronting and facing, putting things towards the front so you can see what you have easily. You know, your soup, maybe tomato soups, and then you get the 3 cans behind that. Putting away so you can more easily see what you have. And then it becomes lather, rinse, repeat. Before you start the next shelf down, though, you will do the same process, but stop and check in with yourself. Do I have time and energy to do this shelf? Or do I need to go do something else because of whatever's scheduled in my life? Use that chunk and the end of that chunk as an opportunity to stop and say, do I think I can complete all of that action now? Or should I stop and pause and come back the next time to do that shelf? Chunking it down is going to help you. Okay? And it's going to be the same in your cupboard. Shelf 1, shelf 2, shelf 3. Chunk, chunk, chunk. It's going to be the same when you open up your fridge. Shelf 1, shelf 2, shelf 3. When you open up your fridge and you look over at all the stuff that's in there. Do not get overwhelmed by everything. Chunk it down into manageable little chunks. And luckily, a lot of things in our lives are already organically chunked down. Shelf, container, storage, that type of thing. Okay? Yeah, so that's fun. You had a lot of aluminum foil. Yeah. And yes, at least it's something that doesn't expire. But even if it doesn't, how long are you going to use it? Yeah. And I love it. Cat Mama hates grocery shopping, so she makes a list at the fridge and sometimes realizes she doesn't even need to go. Now, Jen likes using a free app to track your pantry and grocery lists. I'm old school, so I like to just write stuff down. Okay? So let me ask you, that to me, kind of in my mind, encompassed all of the steps you need to help you make it easier to declutter your cupboard and your food. We started with your destination. What do you want? Tasty foods that are not expired. What did you get at the end of this? Tasty foods that are unexpired. Making it easy for me to see what I have so I don't mistakenly shop too many. Okay? But what I want to offer to you is this. I think I gave you that. Obviously, there's a little bit more you would go into deeper when you have the tension of, well, this is kind of expired, but it's still good. Should I use it? Should I not? That's a separate convo. So please have that with yourself and notice there may be some tension if you were brought up in a certain way of throwing away something that's expired. But what I will offer to you is this. I want to offer these last 4 minutes here for you to ask me any questions. What did I miss? What part of it that I just said that when I was picturing my cupboard is going to be different from you, so we can answer that. So when I call this the one about decluttering your pantry, I guess food pantry. No, food pantry, food. All right? Let me know what I missed and put it in there so we can make sure that we make this a good resource, okay? Now, Vico says, the canned goods I tossed were at the front of the cabinet. I didn't have time to do it all then. Yes, do not try to do it all. You will overwhelm yourself and you will empty out your gas. Now, if you check in with yourself and you're like, yeah, I feel like I can do a shelf treat, then do it, okay? And what I say when it's like expiration dates, they could be a marketing gimmick. I think they are a good indication to notice to yourself how often you eat that food, how often you use that spice. It is crazy to me. We have a can of Old Bay. Technically, it's not a can, it's plastic. And my husband is from the Delmarva area, and so we're waiting. We have had that thing of Old Bay, and he uses it, I think, all the time. It expired in 2021. And it's probably still good, but it loses its oils. It loses its flavor. It's organic. It will break down. Okay? So I personally, because I don't use it that much, I am deciding when we get a new one, I'm going to wait because they said they're bringing back the metal cans, and I'm going to make sure we get a smaller one because we learned we have not used that much Old Bay in probably 6 years. Okay? Yeah. I love this too. Yes, I did this as myself, that one persona. She says, something I did with meds that can be done with food items. Write the expiration date in permanent marker. Yeah, earlier this fall when I decluttered our spice rack, same process, frankly, that I just explained right here. I did the same thing. When there was the expiration date, I actually got a little label maker out from the library, and I made labels with the expiration date being nice and big, so I didn't have to struggle looking at the printed stuff like I had done. And that was before I got my eyes done. Okay? What a great idea. And put it in an easier to read spot. Make it easy for you by labeling things, writing it down at a place where you can read it. Okay? Yeah? Alrighty. So yeah, I'm hyper where I need to go back to it even just for a few minutes. Yeah, notice that. You get to choose how long you do it. What I want to make sure is you become aware of, if I do this, and notice it. Yes, I still have energy. I feel good. I have some energy. But when you stop and you're going to go and it feels like you're going to get into lack into my gas tank in my car is going to be towards empty, I would caution you to keep an eye on your gas tank so you don't get totally spun out and empty, because that's going to cause a negative memory of what it meant to declutter, and that will be what you remember next time you declutter. But if you stop before your gas tank is empty, you're going to feel good, and you'll have gas in your tanks for the next time you show up. Okay? Now, the cool thing is, I didn't see anything in the comments that indicated that I missed something major as far as the one about decluttering food. So I feel like confident that when I upload this TikTok live to the Destination Decluttered YouTube channel, which will happen at some point today, that this will be a good resource for you and for anybody else who watches it. Okay. Now it's hit 9 o'clock. My name is Beth. I'm a decluttering life coach, and my coaching is called Destination Decluttered. I show up and do these TikTok lives and YouTube lives often. The best way to know when I'm showing up and when I'm not showing up is I schedule this and I share the schedule with people that share their email address with me. I rarely use that email address for anything else other than, hey, I've updated some stuff. Come check it out. And I don't even email a lot, so I don't clutter it up. Okay? So I love this, but I'm going to sign off now because I have some good stuff to do today too. We do have a YouTube live coming up in a few hours. If you not want to know when they show up, go to my website, destinationdecluttered.com, and share your email address with me. You'll get an automatic email with a link to the secret page. Go to the secret page and see the schedule, the TV guide, as I like to call it. And I look forward to hanging out with you for another bit of time today. Okay?